Welcome back to Trade in the Market. We've got something very special for you. The moment you've all been waiting for. We're diving deep into the legendary Greyhound bell curves. And who better to guide us than the mastermind himself, Bobbet. In this exclusive video, Bobbet breaks down what the bell curves really mean, how to interpret them with precision, and most importantly, how to use them to identify powerful dogs in the markets. But that's not all. He'll also be revealing his Maverick Curves strategy, a game-changing method to spot winning dogs, place contenders, market favourites, and lightning-fast selections. So without further ado, let's hand over to the man, the myth, the legend, Bobbet. Over to you.
First of all, I'd like to say how sorry I am that everybody could not make it today. For those here, I think you'll find the presentation interesting as well as very, very stimulating.
Bell curves, how I love you. Let's look at the bell curves journey from the humble beginnings to the mighty sports IQ for Greyhound data analysis. Then we'll have a look at understanding bell curves, because there are many people out there who still find them quite complex to look at. So we'll try to simplify that down. And then finally, I'm going to finish with showing you a quick selection process for your Greyhound races.
Let us look at this slide for a moment without comment. I think it speaks for itself.
I first started using bell curves about 2 years ago to try take complex Greyhound data and turn it into a visual and simple way to understand it. But ultimately, it was the Trade the Market team and Sports IQ that took bells to a whole nother level. Now, the original bells was created in Python. You had to run it in something like Google Colab, and the original one was quite simplistic. It literally just produced a bell curve, which was great. It was a good start, but over time it slowly developed and got more complex, got new ideas, ways of displaying the Greyhound data. I saw TTM strategies coming out, such as pairwise, so I started to weave some of these into the code as well. But it was a bit of a pain with all this copy and pasting, which was from the TTM Greyhound pages. But eventually, over the year or two, it turned into quite a comprehensive piece of software which used lots of different visuals to present the data. Well, that's enough of a history lesson. Let's move on to maths. Let's look at how to understand bell curves. So this is a bell curve over on Sports IQ, and the bell curve sits on a graph. The x-axis of the graph, or the horizontal bit, represents time. To the left-hand side of that is fast times, and over to the right-hand side of the graph are the slower times. Now the bell curve is shaped like a bell, hence the name. And while we talk about the bells, I'm going to be talking about different parts of the bell curve. And so let's teach you what those parts are called, or at least in my head. So in the lower left corner of the bell, where it meets the x-axis, is the fast tail. And on the opposite side is the slow tail. Now the fast side is always on the left, and as it slopes up from that fast tail, that is the fast side of the bell, and equally on the opposite side is the slow side of the bell. At the very top of that peak is the average or the mean, and that is the peak of the bell curve. Why are some bell curves really tall and skinny like trap 4? And why are some wide and short like trap 6? What does that mean? Well, it's all about the dog's consistency. So the width of the curve shows us the spread of race times between the dog's very fastest time over by its fast tail and its slowest time over by the slow tail. The wider the curve, the bigger the extreme difference between these two times. On this bell curve, I've plotted a dog's past race times with these grey dots. Notice how most dots are all grouped around the centre of the curve, around the dog's mean or average time. As you move out to more the extreme edges of the curve, so the fast tail and the slow tail, notice how there's fewer dots or times the dog's achieved. Now if you look at the height of the curve towards its peak, this lines up where the most concentration of past race times are, telling us that the higher the curve, the more likely the dog will achieve this sort of time range. And then as we come along to the more extremes, that curve reduces in height, showing us it's less probable the dog can achieve such extreme times. So let's have another look at these two bell curves. We can see that trap 4 is quite narrow, so we know that the spread between its most extreme fast and slow times isn't that wide. And it's really tall, showing a high concentration of its race times must be in a very small spread, so it's a very consistent dog. We then compare it to trap 6, and it's sort of short and wide, showing its real extreme fast times are much faster than trap 4. But then if we look at the other side, its extreme slow times are also a lot slower than trap 4. It's not very high in the curve, showing quite an inconsistent dog. So we don't really know what we're going to get. At its best, it's going to smash trap 4, but at its worst, it's going to lose. Now we know how to use a bell curve to judge a dog's consistency. Let's think more about how we can compare two bell curves to find out which dog may run faster. In this example, trap 3 in white and trap 2 in blue. Now we know the x-axis represents our time, and further to the left are faster times and right is slower. We can see that the white or trap 3 bell curve is shifted further left than trap 2, meaning it's faster. To the point where if we look at trap 2's fast side, so its left hand side, it's even slower than trap 3's slow side. So even on trap 3's slowest day, it should still be running faster, or more probable than running faster than trap 2. If we now introduce another dog into the race, so trap 1 in red here, we can see it sits somewhere between those two traps in time, with a bit more of overlapping potential times. Let's have a look at trap 4. Now trap 4 and trap 3, they're very close, aren't they? They look very similar in sort of consistency and shifted along the x-axis, so two very competitive dogs, similar abilities. And if we bring in traps 5 and 6, and again we can say that 5 and 6 look fairly similar performance dogs, less consistent than traps 3 and 4, we can tell by the height and width of the curves, but far more left shifted, so have the potential to run much faster than the other dogs. Let's now talk about the tooltip that appears on the bell curve. As you see, as I move my mouse over this bell curve, I've got this pop-up box appearing which shows in the very top of the box, where I've highlighted here, 29.97. That's the time in seconds at that point on the bell curve. So if I move it to the right, you'll see that time is getting slower. So it's now at 30.13 as I move to the slow side of the curve. Below the time, you'll see it labelled trap 1. And then in those brackets, you see it say 75%. Now that percentage is how much of the bell curve is further to the left, or how much faster percentage the dog could potentially run. For example, if I put this marker right in the middle, right at the top of that peak, it's 50%. So there is 50% faster potential at that point on the curve. And this could be really useful when we want to compare the overlap between dogs. So if I bring another dog in now, let's bring trap 2 in, and I move our cursor to where the two curves intersect, where these two dots meet one another. So it's roughly there. Now the blue, or trap 2, fast side of its curve is intersecting with the slow side of the red trap 1 curve. So that is straight away an indicator that trap 2 is a slower dog than trap 1. If we look at that tooltip, we can see at that point, at this point where those two curves meet, trap 2 only has 7% more curve that's faster at this point, but trap 1 has 86% of its curve left, which is faster. Bell curves are a really powerful tool when profiling greyhound races, but they don't tell you the full story. Use the other visuals and different filters to build up a rich picture of your profile. But profiling takes time, and sometimes you might want to make a really fast selection. So I'm going to share with you a strategy that you can make a selection in seconds. But bear in mind, the results will more than likely be far better if you do a full profile. In March, I had 105 selections. They won 43% of the time, placed 68% of the time, and I made a 29% return on interest.
I'm going to send you up against the best. Yes, sir. You two characters are going to Top Gun.
I feel the need for speed.
Introducing the Top Gun Dog strategy, where we'll be looking for Maverick Curves. We are looking for the fastest, the best of the best. Albeit, this does mean a lot of the time we'll be picking out the pre-race favourite. The rules. Step 1 will be to go to your race card and filter it down so we've got only races shown with a minimum history of 5 at that track. Grade wise, when I did this in March, I used all grades except for handicap. However, often now when I'm profiling, I might remove certainly like open races, leave myself with A's, B's, D's and S's. I sometimes remove open races simply because the way the seeding is done. Often in open races, your dog might not get the trap which it is suitable for because it's running style, but generally in like your A grades, the dogs are seeded to be an appropriate trap most of the time. Selection is really fast. We're moving through the filtered race card, race to race to race, looking for one thing. We're looking for a Maverick Curve. So onto the bell curve straight away. The settings are minimum races 1, max races 5, recency all time, filter by distance and track. We're looking for a Maverick Curve, which in this race is trap 4, the purple. If the race doesn't have this Maverick Curve, literally quit it, move on to the next. Has it got the Maverick? Yes, no, move on if not. Maverick Curve is a left shifted bell curve, so the fastest left shifted curve, as you can see, this trap 4. There's a couple of rules to follow with this though. All the other dogs must overlap their fast side curve with the Maverick Curves slow side. So for example, if I turn the other traps off so you can see this better, trap 3, this white curve, its fast curve intersects with the Maverick Curves slow side. It's not, for example, first intersecting over on the far side. If I bring in trap 1, we can see it first intersects with our Maverick on the slow side. Trap 1 does overlap with the far side over here, and here's the important second rule. If there is an overlap on the far side of the Maverick, the overlapping curve doesn't want to be any more than 5%. So you can see on this tooltip here, trap 1, it's got 3% curve left. I won't go for anything over 5%. I'll accept something less though. When we're happy that we've got a Maverick curve, in which case this race we do, I will then come up to scatter. Scatter is set to min races 1, max races 5, recency all time, filter by distance and track, x-axis calculated, y-axis calculated. And we're looking for our Maverick to be the fastest dog on the calculated, in which case it's whichever dot is in this bottom left hand corner. And we can see here on this occasion our Maverick is indeed the fastest dog. It's even got the second fastest time, not the third, the fourth and the fifth fastest time. So this is looking like a Maverick dog still. The last criteria has a little bit of flexibility to it. We're going to come up to the ELO table and we're interested in the speed column. We want our Maverick dog to be the fastest dog out there. I will accept joint fastest or just a tiny little bit second place. This is about as much as I'd push it. If you look here, trap 3 is actually the fastest, where it's got a speed of 59, and our Maverick trap 4 is the second fastest at 58.9. That's the only little bit of wiggle room I give to this, but most of the time there's enough races, don't even wiggle, stick to the fastest all round. And as we can see in this race, when we look at the results, our Maverick did indeed win, and there's our threat of trap 3 with its fastest time, which was our wiggle room of the criteria, came second, so maybe we pushed our luck. And if you remember on our bell curve, there was one dog that its fast tail did extend past, and that 3% trap 1, that was our third place dog. Just to highlight the speed at which we can profile races using this method, I'm going to do the entire Harlow race card for you now to see if we've got any Mavericks. Bear in mind a few of the races are missing because we've filtered the race card for the minimum history. Of also note, I am recording this after the races have finished, so when we go into the individual race cards, I'm going to cover up the result just so you get a bit more of a surprise to see whether we win or whether we lose with our Maverick selections. Right, let's go. 10:32. Straight away, come down to the bell curves. Do we have a Maverick? Bell curve trap 3 looks the most promising here, but is it a Maverick? No. Traps 1, 6 and 2 far side all overlap on the slow side. But if we take a closer look at traps 5 and 4, you can see their slow side is overlapping with the slow side of the potential Maverick. So that is a fail. Right, move on. 11:21. Do we have a Maverick? Straight down to the bell curves. Trap 6 looks like the one with the most potential. Most of the traps far side all overlap with the slow side of trap 6 except trap 5. So let's show you this, why this is not a Maverick. We can see that the trap 5's fast side is overlapping the fast side of the potential Maverick curve here. We want it to overlap on the slow side. So that's not Maverick. Moving on. 1154. Is this a Maverick? Trap 6 looks like it's the most shifted again. But we can have a look here. We can see that some of the curves are overlapping on the wrong side. And like, for example, trap 5, if we have a look at that, we can see it's slow side intercepting slow side, and also the overlap on the fast side is at 10%, which is way over. So this is not Maverick. Next, the 12-12 race. Okay, so trap 1 jumps out at us here. Strong potential to be a Maverick. All the other traps fast side overlaps with the slow side of our Maverick. Let's just check out this trap 3 because there's a bit more of an overlap on the fast side there. We want that overlap to be under 5%. It's 4%, we're good. Okay, so let's go into scatter. We want our Maverick trap 1 to have the fastest time, which it is here down in the bottom left hand corner. That's looking good. Up to ELO, we want trap 1 to have the fastest time, 54.8. Happy days, we have a selection. Trap 1 Black Quest is a Maverick.
11-4 into 2-1 for Sally Clark, the owner trainer. Often racing, and Reaper trap 6 breaks smartly with 3 up its inside now, showing the pace, and it's 3 Blue Genie working the magic early doors, being chased out now by the 1 Black Quest, who's 2 lengths down, 4 lengths back to 5, 6 and 2, but it's 3 Blue Genie now only a length clear from the 1 Black Quest. It's 3 into the straight from 1, 3 holding 1 at the moment, who's coming home well, but 3's got its measure, beats 1. And that's how they finished. 5, 6 and 2 chased them home. So Blue Genie, Coral Wenzel, continues her good run this.
Let's carry on. 12.29. Come down, bell curves. No Mavericks there. 12.46. Bell curves. No Maverick there. 13.37, the last race. Potential Maverick in trap 1. Most of the other traps all overlap their fast side with the slow side of our Maverick. Questionable trap 3, so let's have a little closer look at that. Let's go to the intercepting point where the fast side of trap 3 touches trap 1. And we can see there that trap 1 has 52% of its curve to the left, therefore the intercept is on its slow side. So that qualifies as a Maverick. Let's go to scatter. We want trap 1 to be the fastest, it is in this bottom left hand corner. That qualifies. Up to yellow, trap 1 to be the fastest, 53.7. Absolutely it's the fastest. So trap 1, push over poly, is our second selection, our Maverick bell curve. Let's have a look to see how that dog did.
At Harlow, Hare running. Favourite is 1, pushover potty 9-4, 11-4, 5 Towns's Lad, 4-1 bar. And they're off racing. Pushover potty just best away. 2 Mostro Jenny there. 6 and 5 looking to get across out wide. 1 turn with the lead. 6 has gone second. 2 and 5, then 4 and 3 turning in. Pushover Polly from Overdraft. 1 from 6. That's how it'll finish with 5 just third.
So there we go. 2 selections, 1 placed, 1 win. Not bad for a very fast selection process. That is not a full profile. Clearly, if you spent more time, you could do a better profile than what the strategy is showing. But it is what it is. Fast selection process. Top gun dog, the Maverick Curves. I've been Bobbet. This has been Sports IQ. Bloody boom.
Well, I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me.